Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Y'all, I tell you what, this is probably one of the biggest signs the Most High has given us. And as far as this war is concerned, I mean, we know war and rumor of war, but this right here is no doubt. He is putting plagues on populations of people. Now, we know in the Bible, whenever swarms are sent, that's a plague. And if you remember, even with Samson, now bees are something that can be used for good, or it can be used to attack a population. And as small and tiny as bees are, bees can kill you, especially if you have any type of allergies towards bee venom. Then, yes, that can literally kill you. In the story of Samson, there was a part in there where he had killed a lion. Well, the bees came along and they put honey inside of the lion carcass. Some of you might remember this in that story. And that honey was provided by the Most High so that Samson would have something to eat and he could keep himself nourished. And you remember that? Yes. So bees can provide good and bees can be destructive. All right. Now, when I was a kid, I used to kind of swell up after getting stung by a bee. I got stung a couple of times. But I noticed as I became an adult and I got stung, I didn't have the same reaction anymore. You know, I would just get kind of red in the area that I was stung in, but it didn't do anything damaging to my body or where I had to run to the hospital or anything like that. So allergies do change throughout your life. You might be allergic to something like 10 years ago, but you can eat that food now and it does not have any effect on you. It's always changing. So Israel yesterday, y'all, yesterday got hit with a swarm of bees. They said it came from nowhere. And those swarms of bees start attacking the residents. Israel had to put an alert out for people to stay in their houses and close the windows. Businesses had to close in Israel. So this occurred in the southern part of Israel. And again, they did not see this coming, y'all. These bees just showed up out of nowhere. And we know, looking at the book of Exodus, the Most High, when he is judging a population, he will put plagues on that population. And part of the plagues will be swarms coming to attack. And we know this already. So, there was one Catholic priest on there. I didn't even get his video talking about people should stop saying this is a plague. This ain't no plague. I said that right there tells me you're a damn Catholic priest. and you don't know what swarms mean. It most certainly does mean plague. And I said, see, that's why the Catholic Church, that's why you are all misled. Your priests, your pope, your bishops are going to all lead you into damnation. Look at what they're putting out. So, anyway, y'all, let's take a look at what happened in Israel on the 15th of April. And y'all, you could see by their reaction, they were shocked. They were shocked to see this. And this is not a normal, and you know, and I was reading a few things online, and the people said this is not a normal occurrence in Israel to get swarms of bees. Now, some of the reports said there were hundreds of thousands, which I kind of tend to believe. Some say tens of thousands. So really it depends on who's writing the article. You know, if there's certain people, they're going to downplay it. And if it's others, they're going to pretty much try to tell more of the truth. So that, you know, the amount will vary, but at the end of the day, 10,000 is still a swarm. 100,000 is still a swarm. It does not change that fact at all. So y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Hold on one second here. All right, y'all, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Now, just keep in mind, bees shut the place down. Like I said, they were told to get in their houses, keep the windows shut. Businesses all around southern Israel had to close. They had to shut their businesses down in the middle of the day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
SOS. Millions of bees suddenly swarmed parts of southern Israel, and authorities warn people to keep doors and windows closed.
Hello and good evening. Listen. Now, in another episode of As the White Hood Turns, I told y'all recently that Keg's Breath has been talking about, you know, this holy war, right? And they are trying to initiate the second, is it the second coming of Christ? I don't know. I ain't trying to offend nobody and their religion. I'm just saying that, you know, they're saying this is God's will and that Sid was anointed for such a time as this. Hallelujah. Amen, somebody. But that's not what I want to talk about. Did y'all hear that there are bees in Israel? And they're saying that it's like a biblical plague. I'm not trying to laugh. Because I know them people, they've issued warnings for certain communities in Israel to stay inside because the bees are everywhere. Now, you got MAGA out here. Now they're cheering because they're saying this proves that Jesus is on his way back, y'all. What? It's not because Israel blew up the people's stuff and caused all the bees to go free, right? So all I'm saying is we just need to be careful because it is now, in my opinion, a religious death cult because they're looking for signs and wonders in everything. Okay. Again, I'm just waiting for when they find Moses. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. Now, if the Nile turn red, we got problems. Okay, that's it. Don't come for me. These just jokes. Okay. Okay, bye.
They always say warning comes before destruction. And if you know anything about biblical symbolism, bees don't just represent insects. They represent attack, pressure, judgment. And I say that to say this. Why are thousands of bees swarming people in Israel right now? You heard what I just said? I'm not talking about one or two bees. I'm talking about full swarms. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. Y'all don't see all these bees? Tell me what you think about that. Tell me why you think all those bees is there. I need you to turn to Isaiah verse 7:18. And the reason we're going there, because in Isaiah 7:18, it talks about discipline or warning from God. It says God calls swarms to come against a nation. And we can go down the rabbit holes of older superstitions. So now you're telling me in one of the most spiritually locations on earth, quote unquote, they suddenly have a swarm of bees. Either this is the most random natural event ever, or it's something that we won't understand until it's over. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. Historically, swarms has always been seen as warning, just like I told you in the beginning. Not proof, not confirmation, but warnings. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm telling you what's being seen. But if you think all those bees flying around in that location is a coincidence, then you just believe that. I'm out.
So breaking news, if you haven't heard, tens of thousands of bees.
Okay, yeah, the brother is right. Now, bees have been weaponized throughout the Bible. There was Song 118, verse 12, Judges 14, verse 8, Deuteronomy 1, verse 44, and Isaiah 7, verse 18. So swarms have always been used to go against a population of people. And bees are one of those creatures that can provide good or destruction, right? And a lot of times, the big one that the Most High used to use were the locusts. And the reason why he used the locusts, because they would destroy crops. So if he was trying to come after a population, the best way to do it is take their food source away. So locusts would be brought in, and they would literally, in short periods of time, devour huge crops, And so when you see this, if you think this is not a sign, then there is nothing more I can say to you. This most certainly is a sign, for real. Scorpions, locusts, frogs, it can be virtually any type of destructive insects that can come along and swarm a population. So, but yeah, there are some people on here, I don't think this is a plague. Okay, well, I mean, it's a good thing we're not learning anything from you. So let's go on.
Allegedly swarming Israel. I mean, the amount of bees are like biblical proportion. Think maybe our Father is angry at some people. Check this out.
תיזהרי, דבורים. את לא מבינה מה הולך פה. סגרתי את הדלתות. ורק אצלנו בגולברי בחוץ. עכשיו להדבר.
Man, you can't tell me the Bible ain't real. They just said in Israel, it's like tens of thousands of bees swarming in the south part of Israel right now, telling people to stay inside their houses, right? Take caution and all that. Now, the reason I bring that up is because that just reminds me of the Bible, right? That reminds me of the time of Egypt and Pharaoh, right? When God sent the plagues up on Egypt to judge them. And I want to read that in Exodus chapter 10 and verse 12. And this is when God was talking to Moses, and he said, and the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over Egypt so that the locusts swarm over the land and devour everything growing in the fields, everything left by the hail. Now, could this be God judging Israel? I'm not saying that. Could that be the case? It could be the case, right? A lot of wars going on. And we know eventually God is going to judge that land because that is the synagogue of Satan over there in the land, right? And we know that they are not the real Jews, right? That's, Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. But again, you see all these bees swarming in that land, just like the locusts were swarming in the land of Egypt. Now, am I saying it's going to get that worse? No, I'm not saying that. But could it get worse? It could. It could be, this could be the plagues or the judgment that God is putting up on that land for a lot of blood they're shedding right now. The wars they're getting into, obviously, a lot of wickedness that goes on in that land. So again, when I think of the bees swarming right now in Israel, it just makes me think of the locusts that were swarming in Egypt during that time when God put the plagues on them. So only thing we can do is watch and see, and and at the end of the day, God's gonna judge, the wicked, and So again, we know that that's not the real Jews over in that land, and there won't be no peace in that.
Yo, did y'all hear over 100,000 bees just started swarming and attacking people out of nowhere in southern part of Israel? Bro, y'all know we are in some crazy times, right? Because the fact of the matter is everything that's happening over there, and then for this to take place right after Easter and Passover, two of the biggest spiritual resets on the planet. Look at this shit, bro. Whoa, those are bees, bro. Look at this. The bees are all over people's car and they're all over the ground as well. What is going on here? This is deeply symbolic because we literally just entered a new year, and then bees are pollinators. They are messengers of life. Even in some ancient cultures, bees were known as messengers of the sun, and they're the same colors, gold and black. The real sun is black. But it's like they made the car their home. Wow. Y'all don't think this is symbolic? Yo, just like in the Bible, man, like something is going there. The bees are messengers. They're telling us something is happening. Now, the bees clearly have some type of message because this is what happened to the bees in the ground, y'all. And I've been coming across dead bees. I made a video about it a couple months ago. But just for the fact that those bees attack those people like that, what is going on, y'all? And remember, just a few months ago, bro, those people were hightailing her. Remember, they were all getting on a bus. They were going somewhere like they knew something was coming. Now it looks like the bees are sending a message, man. What do y'all think it is? Let me know down in the comments below, man. The shift is here. We've been telling y'all we're in the midst of it. Let's continue to get it decent.
I gotta say, I did not expect to see a biblical plague on the timeline today, but here we are with tens of thousands of swarming bees in Israel, which is maybe a sign from God. I don't know. Not saying anything, just saying. But in this video, I'm going to play for you these swarm of bees and also discuss another plague-like occurrence that happened in Israel, as well as later on an image that went viral from a member of the Israeli occupation forces who is so ugly that people were trying to claim it was doctored. But no, it's a real image. I'll get to all that, as well as at the end, a discussion around a Lebanese Canadian who was killed in Lebanon by Israel and the unfortunate, to put it kindly, reaction from the Canadian government. First here, this is the plague of bees swarming in a parking lot in Israel. Is also apparently disturbing people on their balconies in their homes. But here you go. There's currently no explanation. I was reading a few articles about this. They don't know why this happened. There currently is no real explanation, though. Biblical plague is as good as any, I guess. But
so Israel experienced something out of the norm today, and there was alarms going off too. And these alarms weren't going off because of bombs going off, and these alarms weren't going off because they were being attacked by another country, but they were being attacked by bees. Yes, swarms of bees. Now there was dark, thick clouds of bees descending on Israel, covering streets, cars, and storefronts, creating scenes described by locals as biblical. Authorities urged residents to stay indoors. Businesses were forced to close. No serious injuries were immediately reported, but sheer scale of the swarm made major incident. Now, you know it's bad when they want these residents to stay inside. And I know I would stay inside. Look at this. All over these cars, I would be having a heart attack. Now, people are saying this is biblical because there's many scriptures talking about bees and major things happening after that. So do you think this is biblical or do you think this is just normal?
It's definitely biblical. And on top of that, this is a sign that something worse is about to come. That's what this is. All right. Even when you go back in the book of Exodus, whenever swarms occurred, something even worse came after that. So, no, this is definitely, it's no if it's biblical or maybe. No, it is. It is. I can absolutely say it's definitely a plague. So, yeah, but you always got some people that are hesitant. They're afraid to say certain things, but not me. I'm going to put it out there. It is a plague. And we know plagues, that's right. That's right. You love Yah. Plagues are judgment. Absolutely right. So, y'all, I wanted to show you this. I saw this probably late last night. And the thing is, I was just wrapping up a few orders that I got out this morning. And I just happened to look, and I was at the very end after I had packaged the orders. And I looked and I was like, a swarm of bees. And I clicked in that video and I started watching the different videos and looking at some of the written reports that were out about this. And I'm like, oh man, I definitely got to talk about this one. Oh no, this is telling us a lot of things. And one of the biggest things it's showing us is the Most High is here. He is here. He is here. He was there when Egypt was going through their plagues. He was physically here and talking to Moses. So whenever you see this plague, he's here. He's already here. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. And I will see you on the next video. I just need time to get things posted. I just got back in from dropping off orders and I wanted to get them out early because we're going to be 92 degrees today. And I just didn't want everything sitting around. I wanted to get it out the door and on the way to, the people that placed orders. So I will see you later, family. Be on the lookout for my next upcoming live. Shalom.